So according to Google Maps, we're about 0.3 miles from the trailhead here. It looked like maybe we couldn't get a space, but maybe we could have up there. But we're definitely not the first one. It's about 8:45. We probably will get walking in about 10 minutes, so almost a 9 o'clock start. The other thing is Google says we're about 0.3 miles, so that means that we'll have 2.8 out and 2.8 back if we're not exactly at the trailhead. I found the 4 mile road was okay until the very end, and then probably should have put it in four-wheel drive. You definitely don't want to go the last bit if you don't have a high clearance vehicle, but I think four-wheel drive would also be helpful, even on this dry day, this last half a mile. But otherwise, I thought the dirt road was pretty good, and you could get almost all the way up it. So this is the trailhead closest to Fairplay. The trailhead, the Iowa Gulch trailhead, which is closest to Leadville, that trailhead is closed. So it's actually a very long walk if you go from that direction, because in November 2022, I'm filming this in July 2023, they closed out the road because they thought a mine shaft was going to collapse if they had traffic on that road. So I don't think they're ever going to fix that. I don't know, maybe they'll fix that problem and they'll open up the Leadville side. Otherwise, you're better off going on the to summit Mount Sherman. You're better off going on the Fairplay side. So Mount Sherman, we're already, according to my watch, at 1,200 elevation, almost, just maybe 100 feet under that. And the trailhead is supposed to be at 1,200, so you only have 2,000 feet of elevation gain. So that's one of the reasons why it's supposedly the easier of the 14ers that you actually have to walk for. So we just did the ones you don't have to walk for, Evans and Pikes Peak. We took the train up Pikes Peak, then we drove Evans. We also, before that, we did, before Pikes Peak, we did the high point of Colorado, which is Mount Elbert, which is about a 10-mile trail at the shortest distance and about 4,500 feet of elevation gain. All right, so Google Maps is wrong. It was only like 0.17 miles to the start of the trailhead. This locked gate behind me marks the start of the trail. There you can see I'm breathing because I'm at 12,000 feet. So don't forget your keys. Somebody left their keys here today. Thankfully, somebody brought them down to the trailhead. So if you lost your keys, they're at the trailhead. I also think that we could have parked a little closer, but that didn't matter since of the distance. So there's lots of parking alongside the road here. I think I'm looking behind me, and there's about 10 parked relatively closely to the trailhead, and really somebody could have parked like right in front of the trailhead if they wanted to. There's definitely water 400 feet above the trailhead. We'll see how high you can get water here. So if you have a Sawyer squeeze or you can treat it some way, then probably don't have to carry a ton of water. So I think we're at the end of the road here. There's a number of cairns. Oh, here's somebody coming back around. So we're going to try the branch where this guy's coming around the bend. There's another branch, which maybe it leads to the old mine. I'm not quite sure. I didn't find the cairns at all clear, but no more road, now trail. Oh, there's so much water on this trail. So we got a lake at about 12,700 feet and about 3/4 mile for us, I guess maybe half a mile, a little over half a mile, 0.6 miles from the trailhead. So lots of water opportunities if you can treat it. At 13,000 feet, the trail turns into these talus rocks, which are pretty actually stable. Just below us, about 100 feet, were a couple shelters. I mean, you might want to huddle in them if you were really cold, but they're only a mile from the trailhead. So behind me, it looks like the guys ahead of us are kind of were struggling with the snow there. A few people glissaded down. I think that saved them like one switchback. I'm not going to do it, but Jan and Sophie are debating it. Okay, so I think most people are not going to use micro spikes, but we put them on. I even put on my crampons because I didn't bring my micro spikes. The first snow field, I'd say, was really easy, but the second one, not so much, especially that last 20 feet that you're getting. There are steps kicked for you, but it's a bit of a staircase. So I'm glad Jen and Sophie have their spikes on, and I was glad to have mine. And I also enjoyed using my ice axe in that section. You're good. You're almost there, Sophie. So the top is pretty flat. This is the part where they landed the Cessna, I guess. It goes on for a long time. You can walk on the talus for a while, but it's a bit better to walk in the well-trodden snow. I didn't put on my crampons for this, just because it was so flat, but maybe I'll do it on my way back when I have time to kind of chillax at the summit. We're still not there. It's still quite a ways, but not much elevation to do. $14.52 on my watch.
Do you have any flavored watermelons?
Yeah, $2.77. So it took us about 2 hours and 15 minutes up, including stops, including putting on our crampons and taking them off. You know, it just is very windy in sections, and then it's suddenly not windy. It surprises you, so you never know. So we left at about 8:50, and then summited about 11:40, and you know, my watch was 2.7, which is almost perfect in terms of the rated distance, because we had that 0.2 miles that we were away from the trailhead where we parked. So I think the 5-mile round trip estimate is like right on, according to my Garmin, which is unusual. Okay, so we're back. It took us about 5 hours and 15 minutes. So what does that make this? It's about. So we got to the gate around 8:50, got back to it around 2 p.m. I think we were the last people to summit. According to my Garmin watch, it's about 5.2 miles, so round trip. So that's pretty close to what All Trails said, which was 5 miles round trip. And also the elevation gain, I totally agreed with on my Garmin watch today, and usually my elevation gain is a little weird. I think things to remember is there's an acceleration zone for the winds on the ridge. I would say around 13,800 feet. So if you normally have 10-mile-an-hour winds, then it might be 15 or 20. We were forecast for 20-mile-an-hour winds, and maybe we got up to 30 gusts there. But the weird thing is that at the summit, there was like no wind. So it's part of the saddle. As you're going up, there's going to be really windy portions, and then there's going to be like no wind portions. So don't despair. I would say, if you can make progress and feel comfortable, I'd keep on going. Don't think it's going to be like that forever. But of course, bring lots of layers. Bring lots of water for yourself. I think I used maybe a liter, but I brought 2 liters. So subscribe to Slow Boat Sailing. We give you the secrets to crush your outdoor adventure. And as you can see from me here at the trailhead, it's empty at 2 p.m. We were, I think, the last people to summit. We were last people on the summit at 12. So we had kind of a late start compared to most people, what they think is prudent. We got rained on a little bit today, but we were lucky we didn't get caught in any thunderstorms.